Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Friday. I hope you are looking forward to the weekend. This is just a short freelance video. No notes, just an address of the madness that's been happening in the news recently. And as you can see in the title, an apology to Katie Hopkins. Now, I know you're probably thinking, well, how's that relevant? Well, Katie Hopkins is someone that I didn't have any fondness for. 10 years ago, when I first found out who she was, I just thought she was an antagonist that said things that she didn't necessarily mean, but she would say it to obviously try and get a rise out of people. Now, for a very long time, I thought that this was the case for this person. Right the way through my years of the first years of the awakening. I mean, right up to just recently, I've actually changed my opinion on her. To be quite honest with you, and the reason I've done that is because, but back when I'd first woken up, which before it, and I was saying, and I genuinely had hatred for her. That was back at the time when I still used to harbour those emotions. And I didn't like her because, like I say, I thought she just said things for effect. Now, since I've woken up, and then when I'd woken up as well, I'd still, even though she was saying some of the things that were probably on my wavelength, I didn't necessarily like the way she'd went about it. Fortunately, I've grown up, and I've actually sat and listened to her. And it was she brightens my day up now, and I'd like to thank her for that, because some of her shorts are hilarious. They really are. They're absolutely hilarious. My mum's actually a big fan of her. It was her that was, she's great. No. But recently I'd actually listened to her, and the one that I'd caught, the prick loyalty card, was actually the first short of hers that I'd seen in it, and it was amazing because it's exactly what's happening. Now, back in 2014, I used to say it, and I used to say it quite often, that the world does not need people like that. Like Katie Hopkins, just saying opinions to antagonise people, and that was my view of it at the time. I'm now sitting here 10 years later, saying the opposite to that indeed Katie Hopkins is exactly the type of individual that we need in this world. Whether you like her or not, she is what we need. She says what's on her mind, and she doesn't bloody care who's sitting next to her when she's saying it. I admire her for that. And again, I'm very sorry that I didn't listen to her on the run up to this madness, because I might have got better through it, because there was tough times during COVID and stuff like that. I'm sure you can imagine, anyone that was in this similar situation can relate. So maybe it would have been beneficial to me to sit and listen to her. So I've been watching her shorts in the morning. I like to have a little bit of leisure time before I get started in the morning, and I'd started watching a few of them, and she is a very, very funny lady, there's no doubt about it. And then, if you noticed last week, she sort of started to get some stick from Kate Garraway. Is it Good Morning Britain she presents? Because she's recently brought out a book. Now, this book is titled Life After Derek. Now, Katie Hopkins has rightly said, he's only been dead a week, and you've brought this book out. And I kind of laughed. Not that I'm laughing at her pain or anything like. I mean, condolences to the lady. But to bring a book like that out 1 week after your husband passes, talking about life after Derek, is really quite. It's really quite mind-boggling, to be honest with you. And there was a saying I'd heard quite a long time ago. It was Jada Krishnamurti, or however you pronounce it, and it said that it's no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. And events and situations like that is why it's profoundly sick. Right, just imagine the scene for a second, right? So, Kate, I would imagine, would have been looking after her other half, because it's in the deed after all. It's legally binding that you will look after this person in sickness or in health. Apparently that's what's in it. Not that many people stick to it, like, but I'll give her the benefit of the doubt here and say she's stuck to it. And she's obviously, I would like to think that's what she's been doing. So, like I was saying, just imagine the scene, right? So she's written a book to say what life's been like since losing Derek. But if it was brought out 1 week after he died, then she had to have been writing that when he was sick. I mean, maybe I'm missing something here. But I mean, surely a book doesn't get written and published in 1 week. And even if it could, how can you describe your life after Derek 1 week into it? That, I mean, sweetheart, you'll need to come and help me, I don't know, glass of water, white marsh, I don't know, whatever she was doing for him. Just a second, Derek. Just a minute. I'm just finishing off this paragraph. Make sure my P's and Q's are right. What was it you're writing? Well, it's a book about life after you, Derek. But I'm still here, Kate. And that is why Katie Hopkins is laughing at you, Kate. Because that had to have I'm not saying that exact situation's transpired, but you had to have been writing this bloody book while he was still here. See, if it had been this time next year, I would never have mentioned it in this video. But it's an embarrassment. It is an utter embarrassment. You obviously, I mean, you couldn't have been paying that much attention to him if all you're thinking about is writing a bloody book about what life's like after him. I mean, if I was your husband and I was lying there sick, and again, I'll apologise if I've missed something here, I would be deeply offended. In fact, I would probably do without you for my last days, because you're bringing nothing to the table anyway. You're certainly not holding up your end of the bargain, the legally binding document. So, what use are you? You're sitting there writing a bloody book about what life's like after me. And I thought it was great that Katie Hopkins called it out, because it needed to be called out. It really did need to be called out. And then when I seen that she was, and like I say, I was laughing at that. But then when I seen she was getting stick about it from Kate Garraway, saying that she's insensitive and Katie Hopkins is at it again, and she's very nasty, isn't she? And well, no, she's just saying what the rest of us are thinking, Kate. That, like I've just explained, you're bringing out a fucking book 1 week after he dies, and people aren't going to take you seriously when you do that. And as with Joe Rogan on the last video, when I asked someone to send the last one to him, if someone could send this to Kate Garraway, it might help clear up a few things in her mind as to why Katie Hopkins done that. Because I found it very, very funny. Not that you'd lost your husband, condolences to you, but how many condolences can you expect when you're doing that? I don't think you can expect any, really. Because you've not experienced life after him yet. Not 1 week, you've not. I mean, how can you say what life's going to be like after 1 week of him not passing? You're still grieving in that week. It's at least a year before you could put out something like that. So the fact that you've just shown yourself to be an embarrassment, really, like. And people say, well, why are you making this video to say that? Well, I was going to use this channel not to just raise awareness, but to get opinions across, because that's what it should be about, and to maybe try and add some balance to it, and obviously to let people know exactly why someone like Katie Hopkins would say that. And as I've said, it's quite a turn up for the books that I'm sitting here now and saying that actually it's the opposite opinion I've had since the last 10 years, and I would like to think that that's evidence of growth on my part. Not that I'm tooting my own trumpet or anything like that, but I would like to think that's what it is. And again, I would just like to thank Katie Hopkins for everything that she does, and I hope she continues to do it. I think she's hilarious. I just love how she just speaks her mind and doesn't care what anybody thinks. Like when she talks about the stuff on the airlines and stuff like that, and she calls them chumbawambas, and I mean, apparently she used to be overweight as well, and it's true, like, I mean, if you're overweight, you need to do something about it, like, and people don't like the truth, though, that's the thing, and that's one thing I've learned. In fact, the truth can make people very, very angry, as I mentioned, I think it was on that live stream once. If you say something, right, that's at odds with someone's belief system, and they start getting angry with you, they're doing it for a reason, because their subconscious is reminding them of their social programming. I've had some really nasty arguments with people, and I mean, like, for some people that I've regarded as friends, like that, and I ended up, when I've left their house and went back another time, they've actually had to apologise for their conduct, because they obviously had time to sit and think about it, because all I was doing was giving an opinion, and they didn't like it, and it would appear that on a larger scale that Katie gets a similar thing. But not that it bothers her, it's just, I just think it's brilliant. And our Katie's arms as often, and I mean, I don't drink, but if I did, I'd maybe join it. Maybe I'll get something started like that, maybe Alan's weed night or something like that, or Alan's coffee and weed live stream or something. I don't know, we'll see what happens. I think that could be quite funny. Maybe we'll cross over sometime and have a drink and a smoke. We'll see. But I just think it's awesome what she does, and I've subscribed to her, and I'll continue to follow her work, absolutely no doubt, because she's got some good policies, there's no doubt about it. And I wanted to obviously address a couple other things that I've seen just a couple of news headlines just before we obviously move on. So I'd seen a news headline that said, processed foods linked to mental and physical health problems. And, I mean, I've kind of already explained why that is, and if you go back and look at my food as medicine video, you'll see that when you put stuff like that into your body, you are asking for trouble, there's absolutely no doubt about it. And as I've previously mentioned, a lot of the diseases we've got, they didn't exist 100 years ago. And that's due to the processed foods and the additives and the extra sugar and all that stuff. It just didn't exist because confectionery wasn't what it is now 100 years ago. And we certainly didn't indulge in it as much as what we did 100 years ago. And it's true, I mean, you look at it, newsreels from the 70s in Scotland, there's no one overweight, look. It's crazy, and yet you look at Scotland now and it's got one of the worst per capita obesity rates in the world. It's just nearly as bad as America. And they say obviously the fast food shops that contributed to that as well. When McDonald's arrived, I think the first one arrived in London in 1979 or something like that, wasn't it? I can't remember the exact year, but it's round about there. And surprise, surprise, and not entirely coincidental, we've had an obesity epidemic, me being a victim of it. So you're never too far away from that, and that's why you need to get control of your own mind, like, because if you believe what's coming through the news, then you'll not pick up 3/4 of this stuff, like, and you end up lost. And that's sort of why I'm here. And I mean, you see some of the fake, I'm not going to mention any names here, like, but you see some of the fake YouTube channels that I've seen over the last couple of weeks, and it's cringe and it embarrasses me. And I just think to myself, and anybody that's going to start a YouTube channel, and I know I said anyone can do it, which you can, but it appear a lot of these channels nowadays, they lack authenticity, and it doesn't matter who your audience is, there's always someone going to see through that. So if you are going to sort of embark on something like this, then I would suggest that you adopt a policy of honesty, because you're not going to get anywhere unless you do, because like I say, someone's going to see through that eventually. And another headline that I'd seen, obviously, like the Muslim takeover, as they're calling it, saying that Sadiq Khan has been compromised. Well, maybe he has, but Sadiq Khan's been compromised for day one anyway, so it'll not really matter. And as I said again in the last live stream, that order can come out of chaos. And that's why there's so much chaos. And I mean, I see, this is the thing, and this again, it's like a stablemate of the asylum seeker issue with regards to hatred. We can't hate. I know it's difficult. It is difficult because we think, well, we're losing out because of these people, but it's not their fault, as I've said. But hatred, they're actually pushing hatred into people by saying that, well, there's a Muslim takeover and Sadiq Khan's been well, maybe he has, but they're letting it happen. We have to dance around all this, and I've got nothing against anyone from that faith, Islamic, and I haven't, and I've actually looked at some of their beliefs, and I mean, I can see why they do it. I'll give one example. So when a Muslim meets someone, I know there's two sides, I can't remember the names of them, but they don't just go out and sort of go on dates and sleep with each other and then get married and have kids. It's not how it works. What they do is the two families actually meet to see if they're going to have the same beliefs. Because there's no point in two people getting together and having children if their beliefs in the world and reality don't align. We've not got anything like that in Scotland, and the problems that it causes is just, I mean, especially over the last couple of years. So you need to be in alignment with the person that you're going to spend the rest of your life with. And it isn't just based on looks, it comes from deep within. I mean, looks fade, so that's why you need to choose a good personality as well. But that is one thing I would adopt from them, and I think we should be aligning up to see if we are even compatible as two families before we make another family out of that. That's just my opinion on it. That said though, if we were to go to a Muslim country, we would need to respect their rights. And I think if we asked for a church, we would get laughed out of the country, really, like. So I don't think that's fair. It's the same with regards to the asylum seekers coming here. We can't just go to another country and get benefits. It just doesn't exist for us. So I don't see why we need to be open for that. Just because we're the fathers of democracy, whatever that democracy is. I mean, it doesn't exist. It's a technocracy we're in now. If democracy ever has existed. So the fact that we see, this is the thing, like, that's fairness. Right, okay. We can't come into your country and start dictating to you. That's fine, we don't want to do that. But you need to reciprocate and come to this country and expect the same deal. But they don't, because they think their beliefs are above ours. Maybe they are, but from what I can tell, all these books are telling the same bloody story, with slightly different names and slightly different changes and here and there. But if you look vastly overall, the story is the same, regardless of what book you go to. And then you look at all the offshoots. Catholic and Protestants, a fine example of that. I was raised a Protestant. It doesn't mean anything. And you look at the two religions, and they're basically the same. Only one believes in abortion, one doesn't. But yet, when I grew up on the Protestant side, I thought that, well, actually, I'm on the right side of this. And then you open your mind and you start educating yourself. Well, hold on a minute here, there's something not right with this here, and I'm going to go into this in another video. I might get backlash for it, but I don't care. I mean, I come from a staunchly Protestant family, but I don't care. I'm not bothered, because the truth is the truth, and that's it. And I believe if you can unite Ireland, we'll unite the world. And those two sets of people need to realise they've got a common enemy, the same as everyone has. And I think religion probably did start out positive, but it's been infiltrated like everything else, because that's what these people do. These rulers, whatever you want to call them, they infiltrate. I mean, there's a brilliant JFK speech. You go and listen to it about them. He does a brilliant speech about it. Just type in JFK secret societies and it'll come up. It's amazing. It'll blow your mind. But anyway, I'm sorry getting off a bit there. Yeah, but I mean, saying Sadiq Khan's been compromised and the Muslim takeover and all the rest of it, and then you're getting people that are getting offended because Christians are praying. And then I'd seen someone in a shop, it was an Asda worker, and he was Muslim, and he was this lady, she was, I don't know what she was doing, but he didn't like what she was wearing. And it's like, look mate, if you don't like what that lady's wearing, then I'm afraid you're going to have to get yourself a plane ticket and get the fuck out of here, like, because you're not welcome if you're saying that. Everyone is welcome here, provided we've got the resources to supply, and you've got goodness in your heart, and you want to make yourself and the world a better place. Getting out and telling someone you don't like what they're wearing because it goes against religion's not doing that, is it? You're not respecting people's rights. That's the problem I've got with wokeism and all. They don't respect people's rights to believe what they wish to believe. It doesn't matter if you think it's stupid or not. There's no such thing as a stupid question. It's how you learn. And then there was another couple of things that I'd seen, and I mentioned it briefly on the live stream, that they're coming for sports as well. Because if you remember at the start of COVID, everything was closed, and football, right? It doesn't matter when. I love football, but there is more important things at hand that take precedence over it. There's no doubt about it. But you have to remember that's my choice. I have to respect the fact that there's still people out there that don't want to put their mind to that. Regardless of what I think of that, that's their choice. That's what freedom is. They still want to work and do their job all week and then go and have the release at the football on a Saturday or a Sunday. That's fine by me. If that's what you want to do, if that's what makes you happy, then I'm not going to stop that. But they are. And that's why everything was closed down. And now what they're trying to do to football is introduce blue cards. And it's true what they say in TalkSport. It'll completely change the complexion of the game. And I know a lot of people don't like football and all the rest of it, but this is people's release. It's been the game of the working classes basically since it started. And they want to take it because they know that if they introduce blue cards, that it's like a sin bin for, I think it's 10 minutes or 8 minutes or whatever it is. The other team, or the team who's been sin binned, what they're going to do is they're just going to completely waste time until they get their player back, which changes the game. It would change. I mean, they've gotten rid of rules back in the 80s and 90s to sort of stop that from happening, stopping time wasting. And now they're wanting to introduce cards that'll reintroduce it again. Why? Why do they keep trying to change the game? Because they're trying to destroy it. And there was a guy on Ollie was on TalkSport. This was 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. I think I mentioned him, and he's talking about he's wanting to ban rugby in schools, saying that rugby is dangerous. And I listen. I know it can be dangerous. I'm not saying that, but surely banning it's a bit extreme, is it not? Why would you want to ban something? And who are you to ban it? And the same guy that says that rugby needs to be banned is the same guy that says that football is transphobic. An absolute balloon. And what he done was, he sat there and he completely blinded the pile with all his bloody word salads and intellectual claptrap that didn't really make a lot of sense to me, like it really didn't, but these people do that, and it's to blind you with science or blind someone with science so that they don't question. He's lucky I wasn't sitting there. But you can tell I'm a progressive. Right, well, you keep progressing the way you are, mate, and you'll be going to jail, because that is where these people need to be. They need to be held accountable for this. I mean, I don't know who they think they are. And listen, I know there's studies, and I know there's probably kids and there's parents that have had kids injured and all the rest of it. I'm not saying precautions shouldn't be taken at junior levels at rugby, of course. But to ban it completely and deny kids from playing sport together, nah, I'm not having that. You're not telling me you're doing that for safety reasons. And if you noticed and all, that tyrants, right, they will always use the safety of people to justify their measures. The man in Germany, there's an outside threat threatens this, or puts it at jeopardy, this great nation and the people of it. And that's how he got his consent, because he told them what they wanted to hear. That there was a threat, communism, coming from the outside, coming from the east, and they were coming not just for the country, but for them. That's it, unity. So we have to watch with things like that. But this is how they do it. So they want to do away with sports, and then you see like nightclubs are closing at an unprecedented rate as well. It just so happens this ticks the boxes of these people. They want, because go and look up the word dystopian and get the definition of it. I can't remember the exact definition, but I know it's pretty much a society that's based on fear and anger and secrecy and not opening up. That's pretty much what it is, because if you're going to be a tyrant, that's the kind of society you need, because if you've got talkers who are willing to speak from the heart and they're not afraid, then you can't have that. So it has to be like that to keep it going. It's just sometimes it makes me wonder, like it really does, how they've got this far. But they've got this far because so many people think that they can't do anything about it. But I'm here to tell you, you can. Don't need to consent to it, because they need you to consent to it. I know it makes it look like they've got the power, but they need your consent to build it, as I keep on mentioning. And then it's just, while I'm on the woke subject again, there was a 90-year-old volunteer in America who'd been volunteering. I can't remember the name of the place. I don't think it matters at this time, like, but 60 years she'd been volunteering, not getting paid, but volunteering. And she just got let go last week there, or 2 weeks ago it was, because there was a mix-up with pronouns, with the she female pronoun. I just couldn't believe it. I thought, Jesus Christ. I mean, that just shows you they don't take any prisoners, do they? And there's no mercy there. Like, you've been here 60 years volunteering. We don't care. You're not following the agenda, so you're out. And that's what happened. And it's very, very sad, and I can't imagine how she must have been feeling after it. Like, she must have felt used and violated after giving 60 years of her life to something, and just to be told that, just because an agenda is coming in, or they're trying to force an agenda onto people. And I mean, I'm getting earnings shaved off these videos, like, I don't care, because I know it's because of what I'm saying, and I don't care. I don't care. If I need to go back and put in 40 hours a week, I don't care. I've done it for years, I'll do it for a few more. So that's just the way it is. I'm here to tell people the truth, and that's it. Because that's what life should be about. And that's the first thing we're told as kids. It wasn't when I grew up. Always tell the truth. Never lie to yourself. You can't lie to yourself. You can't trust someone that lies to themselves. Have a bit more self-respect than that, man. Because it'll change the world. It really will. And I would just like to finish on this last thing. There's a little message that I'd gotten from my case manager in the inside, and she'd informed me that, like, there's been a few people saying that obviously they think it's very invasive that the DWP as of 2025 can now snoop into people's bank accounts, and it is very invasive, that, there's no doubt about it. However, this case manager, it's fascistic as well, like, don't get me wrong, but this case manager's actually informed me of a claimant of hers that's, because she's been requested for the 4 months bank statements, and she's refused. I think she got a man. I think she's had a strike for it, like, but she's refused on the grounds that what's in her bank account has got nothing to do with them. So I'll be interested to hear on the outcome of that, and that's absolutely brilliant that someone's done that, because it's true. It's not their policy yet that they need to show. Well, it is just policy. It's not law. They can just request that. But if someone like that can just turn around and say, "Well, hold on a minute. I'm not telling you what's in my bank. It's nothing to do with you. It's nothing to do with you what's in my bank account." And she's taking it all the way, or they're taking it all the way. I don't know if it's a he or she, I'm not sure. But I'll keep you informed once I hear the outcome of it, because it will be very interesting. And once we know the outcome of it, whether it's win or lose, which I think there's a good chance she'll get through it, then we'll know there's a way to get through it, and we can start pushing back on that fascistic bloody policy of snooping into people's bank accounts. And that's why I'm saying people, and I get it, like, because they're in a state of fear because of this benefit. They will say to me, "Oh, I'm getting £4,000, do I need to report it?" It's like, no, you don't, because they'll report it anyway. You'll lose the payment for that particular assessment period, but it will return to normal once that assessment period's finished. Oh, I should tell them. It's like, look, if it's under £6,000, they don't need to know, or even someone that's signing up to it saying, "Oh, I've got £3,000 in savings, do I need to tell them?" Well, no, I don't. I just tell zero, because it's none of their business. If it's not over £6,000, it's none of their business. They don't need to know. Even if it's £5,993, you don't need to tell them. But see, this is the thing. This is why they want to bring in this policy, because with a policy like that, you don't need to tell them. They can just go in and snoop. And again, this will be based on our consent. And people keep asking me, just one more thing, what can we do about it? Well, there's not a lot we can do about the benefit system just now. It's only just being revealed what it actually is. But in the meantime, we need to take responsibility for our own lives. And I know I keep saying that, and people keep saying it to me. It can't be that simple. Trust me, it doesn't happen overnight, but it is that simple. Because once we do it one by one, we'll change this. We'll change this, because those politicians won't have people to rule, because we'll be responsible people. Politicians only need to rule people if the people are irresponsible. And from now on, we're no longer going to be irresponsible. And that has to be the message, because it'll change the world. It really will change the world. So that's me pretty much at the end. Like, I was going to record the climate change video today, but I've got a couple of calls coming through tonight. One at 5 and one at 6, and then I've got to go and visit a friend. And I just didn't have enough. I've got my nephew to go and see tonight as well, and I didn't have enough time to finish off the notes for the climate change and record it and do this video and do everything else. So I might do it over the weekend, but it's probably going to be posted on Monday. I'd like to thank everyone for their continued support. Any new subscribers I've got on board and any subscribers that's been with me, obviously since the beginning, I appreciate every last one of you. I'll say it again, I'll try and keep you as informed as possible with regards to what's happening moving forward, although there'll be better people out there to do that than me, but you can always check in my videos as well. Again, I'd like to thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Enjoy the rest of your evening and your weekend, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.